How's it going, folks? Rob here. Welcome back to the channel. Going to check out some new screenshots from Forza Horizon6 that just dropped a few hours ago. IGN just released another video talking to the developers about their production and how things are going with Horizon 6. So, what was it, about a month and a half to go? I just pre-ordered the game, so we're going to check out a bunch of these screenshots. A friend of mine sent me all this, so I haven't actually watched the IGN video, so we're just going to go in raw and find out what's going on. So I think I've seen this before, the coastal road that just wraps around. So yeah, some of these are screenshots, so the quality might not be the greatest, but you get the ideas of going through. We've seen some of these buildings below. This is down by the lake, I think it was. It's still good to see some details. Yep, this is obviously the same one, just zoomed out a little bit from a different spot, I'm guessing. This particular road here with the buildings reminds me of the old school for Jimmy Cato back on Forza Motorsport 4, where you start at the bottom there, but obviously it's a little bit different. The lake, got the boat. Be nice if we can take that little pickup thing for a drive. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. Now, when I first saw the trailer months ago when they dropped it and I saw this road, I thought that is absolutely ridiculous. It looks so fake. There's no way that exists. And I did some research and found out, no, the Japanese do actually have roads like this where they carve them out and they have these massive sort of, what you call them, a cliff sort of thing. Interesting. Obviously, their culture is completely different to everyone else's around the world, and I can imagine they would do this. And knowing that it's real, okay, that's fine with me. So this is a new one I haven't seen before with all the snow. We did get some information. Apparently, though, there was some complaints with certain people back on Horizon 4 days where there was, we had the snow seasons once a week in Britain swapped over. We don't really get that so much in... that is just stunning. Look at that. But yeah, from what I heard, that the snow is going to be staying permanently up in the highest part of the mountains, and so down below towards the ocean and the lakes, it's going to be a bit more asphalt. So it's not going to be constantly snowing like it used to, but which is a bit of variety. So if you want snow, you go to the top of the mountain, you're always going to get it. But that looks absolutely awesome. Just that screenshot alone looks better than a lot of the countryside in Mexico. Just the little elevation changes, the rolling hills. Absolutely can't wait. The roads are nice and narrow. They're not as wide as I was expecting, so that's pretty good to see. Hopefully that continues as we go. Look at that. Oh, you just want to go for a drive. Look at the valleys and the peaks and just so much variety in the landscape. Can't wait to take an off-roader through that. The color, this is just a screenshot. You can imagine what the actual in-game footage is going to look like once we finally get to plug our own controller in. The mountains in the distance with the fog and the low clouds looks fantastic. All right, we've got another mountainside that looks, well, it's not a glacier, it's a frozen lake. Obviously, this would be winter time, or if it's going to stay like that permanently, not too sure, but looking pretty good. I'm liking the look of the mountains. The coloring looks fantastic. What else we got? Okay, we've got like assuming it's like a snow resort area up in the mountains. Looking pretty good. Again, we've had snow before, but I'm assuming they're going to upgrade it. They'll work on the snow, make it, I believe it's got more resistance in it when you're driving. All right, same thing up in the mountains again. Looking pretty good. It's not as bright as the other ones are down below, obviously. Don't know what time of season it is. I don't know too much about Japan. I'm just looking at the quality of the roads. There's some potholes and whatnot. Hopefully that sort of stuff affects the cars a little bit more and we get bounced around a little bit. That looks like a downhill snow skis resort thing, doesn't it? Could be a road, I don't know, but it looks like something is ski down. So that'd be interesting, trying to drive cars up the top of that. Even just in the distance, the draw distance looks absolutely beautiful, and the quality of the mountain right there in the center of the screen looks really, really good. What the heck is that? Obviously, again, it looks like a snow resort building, but no idea what that little fella is, but I'm sure we're going to see a few of him and his colleagues around the map. All right, we're starting with a lot of snow. We've got I assume that's like a waterfall trickling down over the edge there. Again, just the scale looking out, it looks so much better than Mexico. All right, we've got another lot of snow, which is good. We're up in the top of the mountains, obviously. Got a little creek. What do you call that, a creek or river? Small. Obviously a road cutting through again. Can't wait to go for a cruise. Look at that. That is awesome. It's been fun, Mexico, but I'm so ready to move on. This I don't want to get too hyped for this game, but I'm feeling like this one could be the one that really sets this game above. Just forget the driving and the cars and the customization, just purely the map. What I've seen so far has potential to be the best looking map we've ever had, with so much variety in the landscape. We're going to eventually throw cars through there. Should be lots of fun. Obviously, that is quite a steep valley on either side, so you're not really getting out of that. I've got some ocean with some bloody seagulls. Hopefully we can run those bastards over. Down in Australia, we hate seagulls. They're rats in the sky. I've got a shipping boat. Someone's going to crash into that. Look at that. That is beautiful. The lighting coming through the trees looks fantastic. Someone who grew up playing games in the 80s on the Atari 2600, to see what we have now in gaming is quite incredible. Obviously, younger folk growing up with this sort of era, you can be a little bit more picky, but that looks really good. You're not going to be getting unless those trees actually, you can knock them down, you're not getting through that anytime soon. Maybe an appeal, but not. Look at that. That is stunning to look at. The fields of crops, they're going to be swaying back and forth, hopefully. But the draw distance and the view all the way over the scale of the map, I've got no idea where this is pictured from. We could be on one side of the map, we could be halfway across, we don't know, but that is with the sky and the clouds. That is awesome. I can't wait to go for a drive across this map. All right, got a beautiful map here with the cherry blossoms, which is a big thing about Japan. Hopefully they don't scatter them everywhere. But we did the footage the other week with the gameplay on IGN. We didn't see too many of them, which is good. I'm assuming as we're driving through these, all the pedals are going to be flying up and going everywhere, so it's going to be quite a pretty sight. I imagine in the real world, I imagine that is very slippery to drive on. In the game, I don't think so. All right, we've got a lot of valleys and a river down below, lots of peaks, and it's completely different to what we used to Horizon 5 in Mexico, where everything's relatively flat. You can fly across the map at 200 miles an hour on an off-roader. You get a few little hills in there, but this one, it looks like you're not going to be able to just rocket across the map at 200 clicks an hour. This is good. Much, much better. All right, we've got a lot of fog, which is cool. That road kind of looks, it's wet obviously, but it could be a bit icy. There might be a bit of rain there on the right-hand side of the screen. It's looking cool. The road's not that wide, which is good. I don't want really wide roads. I can't read Japanese, but it says cafe, so I'm going to assume that means cafe. Got a little dirt road, which probably leads up to something like a little barn find. I'm assuming barn finds are back again. Hopefully they're a bit more involved than they were the last few games, because they got kind of boring just driving, and all a week later the game gives you the car. Hopefully there's a mini game or two involved in collecting and building up the car. Got some islands out in a little inlet sort of thing. That's quite pretty, isn't it? Obviously, I don't know if we're going to be like Horizon 4, that's going to freeze over in winter and we can drive over it and have an ice lake. I don't know how cold it gets in Japan. I've never been there. I know there's a lot of snow and mountains, but we shall find out. That is a very distinct look from Japan, isn't it? I'm not too sure what they're called. It's like an archway, but it's kind of usually to do with a temple, isn't it? I am not a very learned person. All right, so we got this. Looks like the same town we saw at the start. We've got at least now we finally got some people sitting around, because we saw the footage the other week. Everything was looking very, very empty. No cars. I didn't really see people walking past. We are getting people just sitting down, chilling on the steps, which is cool. We got some fish sort of lanterns up, hanging up, which is kind of cool. Maybe it's eventually we're going to get a lot of Japanese cultural events brought into the game like we did in previous games. So be good to learn a bit about that as well. Construction going on, which means in 6 years' time that'll still be getting worked on. All right, same spot, just a little. Okay, same thing, just a different time. We got the fish lantern sort of flags, whatever they are. Awesome, looking good. Nice. Again, the roads aren't that wide, at least looking there. Again, we got no traffic to give it some scale. We've got a dirt road peeling off to the left. Just the mountains and the color of the trees looks really good. They kites flying up in the air too. That's different. All right. Oh, we got some in-game footage from a racetrack. Is this one of those time trial races? I know there's going to be a few time trial tracks scattered out across the world, so hopefully this is one of them. Oh, we've got another one. Out of habit, I just want to take a picture to get rid of the freaking camera thing above the car, but awesome. Yep. Can't wait for it. We've got another one. Looking at the map down the bottom. I'm assuming this is one of the tracks you can just drive up to and enter a race with other people instantly, which is cool. Makes the world feel more alive. All right, it's a pretty unique looking bridge. Looks like train tracks above. Is that a rice field, Paddy, down below? Not sure. Some pretty flowers. I don't know. We're eventually going to drive over that and destroy it. I'm pretty sure that's a rice field. I'm not sure. Again, we've got a bit of rain, a bit of fog. Already seeing a bit of variety in the weather, which is really good. Going to ruin someone's cabbage in greenhouses. Again, I'm just loving the new coloring. Mexico got a bit dull after a while, so I'm really hoping this game just pops off the screen. Again, just look at that. It looks awesome. We're going to have a shot of the S2000 on one of these time trials. It's going to be cool just driving up to a random track and just going for a cruise. Hopefully people actually do this, because I know a lot of people, I don't like the way the open world with cars is set up with multiplayer online in Horizon 5, where everyone just pops in and out. I want to go back to the days where you can hear people talking in the background. Kind of makes you feel like you're playing against bots. Not too much to say about that. The coloring's really nice in the sky. Obviously a sunset. That is beautiful. Look at that with the low clouds and the fog in the valley there. To think that we can actually just drive everywhere in this is going to be awesome. But even just the coloring and the textures of the plants at the front and the foreground there is really cool. All right, we've got seeing a lot of Mount Fuji, but there's a stadium in the middle there, which is pretty cool. So obviously we're getting one back like Mexico, where they'll change it every few weeks with different events and themes, which is cool. Looks like someone's been chopping down some trees, so that's going to be some stumps. Not only do you got to avoid trees, you got to avoid stumps as well, which is more things for me to hit when I'm trying to do cross country. That is beautiful. Look at the autumn with the colors in the trees. That is awesome. Very, very pretty. I'm getting really Horizon 4 Scotland, England autumn vibes now. Looks like there's going to be a lot more variety in the seasonal changes compared to what we got in Mexico. Even just all the vines over that tunnel, which I'm assuming is a train tunnel. So cool. Feels lived in and dirty. We've got more fog. Awesome. That looks like one of the roads we drove. Well, I say we saw in the footage, the gameplay footage a few weeks ago. I assume that's the same road we saw from before. With all, looks quite cool with all the vines hanging down below on the retaining wall. It looks good. More autumn. The coloring. Look at the variety of it. Looks fantastic. Hopefully, when you're driving through, all the leaves and stuff fly up behind you. Fingers crossed. Look at that. Well, that is a better shot of all the. They really love showing off Mount Fuji. I'm hoping we can go to the top of that mountain. That'll be awesome. But look at the clouds in the valley. We're going to have to be driving through that, underneath that, which is pretty damn cool. I think we're back towards the start. We have seen that before. Yeah, it is looking... That isn't a different one. Look at that. You can see all those little roads going through those fields on those mountainsides. Going to be hopefully some really good dirt, narrow, technical rally stages, but all the way into distance you can see peaks and troughs with the mountains. It's so much more varied compared to what we got. And yep, I don't want to get too hyped. I've pre-ordered the game. I'm going to be playing it from day one, but this map is looking really, really good. Eventually we'll crash into that little rock formation and roll. Eventually all my cars... I'm fingers crossed the rallying in this game is much better. Having been playing a little bit of the rally expansion again the last few weeks off screen, they got the rally the best it's been, and hopefully they continue that the next game, because rallying was a bit dull in Horizon 5, especially when so many of the dirt roads, the dirt rally stages were mixed with gravel. I just want a rally on dirt. Hopefully we get more of those. We haven't really seen too much of Tokyo. Those trees look pretty nice. There's a bit of a blurry image. Obviously, it's a screenshot. Some SUV, Japanese SUV looking out in the distance. And there we go. We've seen that one again. So, okay, there's obviously some double ups. And I assume that's the same before, just on a slightly different angle in that valley. It is looking pretty good, what we're getting. Is that a mobility scooter thing? Oh, please tell me we could take one of those for a drive. Oh my God. People are going to now assume they're going to be in the game like the motorbikes, which we're not getting motorbikes, folks. It's just a prop in the background that everyone's been talking about. Looking awesome. The variety we're getting, I assume that's the same building, just different. You know, the scooter's gone. Maybe you can move them. Other than you just crash into them, but the bamboo trees look fantastic. So going to crash into all of those. I just want to go exploring. This game is looking pretty good, folks. Is that a Pajero? Again, all the motor paths, expressways, rail bridges. Smoke's looking pretty good. The dust trail at the back of that. Yep, looking forward to it. That is not Tokyo. That looks like a little country town. Got a Nissan. Hopefully we get a bunch of K cars in this game. Look how narrow and enclosed all that looks. It's fantastic. Awesome. Oh, look at the old temple. That is beautiful. I love the architecture in Japan. Never been there, but I've seen a lot of it. And it is just unlike anywhere else in the world. All right, we've got another screenshot. The new Honda Civic, fantastic. That is coming in. I love that car. That inlet there with the ocean, the bridges in the distance. Looking pretty damn good. All right, that is the last of it. All right, awesome. Can't wait for it. Apparently, in my note that I got, in a week or two, IGN's going to release a video to do all the customization of cars, which is awesome. That is what we want. Hopefully, they pull their fingers out of their butts, Playground Games, and actually give us some proper customization instead of using the same wing on every single car. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we get more variety. So until then, I'm Rob. Cheers for watching. I so can't wait for this game to drop in a couple of weeks' time. A few more than a couple. You get the idea. Anyway, I'll see you later. Bye.